You're listening to Dude Podcast with JC and Will. Put some pep in that step. Enjoy the show.
Hey, everybody. I'm JC.
And I'm Will.
And you're listening to...
And you're listening to Dude, you dummy.
Dude, you big ding-dong? What's going on?
Gosh, how you doing?
It's Friday, man. It's Friday. And
that's why Daddy's drinking his old medicine, red wine.
I've been allocated to my office yet again, corporate JC. No, because the Eagles are playing tonight. It's really weird. The Eagles are playing tonight for some reason. And my neighbor, he has a really cool back patio, and it's really close to the garage. And so no doubt he would hear me, and he's probably pretty, it's the Eagles, so he's throwing a few back. So he may invade the garage. I don't know what could happen. So I figured safer to be
To be clear, for those of you who don't watch the video on YouTube, but you should check that out.
Always.
JC usually records in his garage. He's got this cool, I hate saying man cave, but it's a man cave.
I always say, you know what? I describe it as the third best thing I've ever done in my life. That's it.
What's the second best? I know the first best. What's the second best?
My wife, marrying my wife.
Oh, okay. Well, that was going to be the first. So what's the first?
Well, maybe the bit. I don't know. The baby, and her go 1, 2. It's tough. It's tough. It depends on the day. You know what I mean? It depends on the day. They're 1A, 1B. You know what I mean?
So when you guys get in a fight, you tell your wife, "You're not the first best thing that's happened."
Well, right now you're the second. Right now she's on a bachelorette party, and this is the 4th weekend in a row that's just me and baby Trey. So, because then she was sick. She got the vid. She got the COVID. That was our Labor Day, dude. She was just in her room. It was awful.
Not good.
It was a good one. I mean, she was COVID came back with vengeance, and yeah, it was it. It was it too. You thought it was done. You thought they killed that clown. But that clown comes back.
Comes right back. More powerful than ever.
Yeah,
so where's your wife bacheloretting at?
She's in the Poconos.
What do you do on a bachelor party there?
I mean, I think they're just there. They are on a little lake. It's mountainous. It's beautiful. They're just going to drink a lot of wine, do each other's hair, probably have pillow fights, those sorts of things. Things women do.
Absolutely, right? They do pillow fights in their jammies.
Exactly. They're gonna read Teen Vogue, and they're gonna
watch Babysitter Club,
and talk about Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
We do that at bachelor parties, though.
I mean, that's all exactly. That's what we're always in the.
What is the best JTT hair? 96 or 97?
That was a really interesting time for hair, because it was weird, because there was the Jennifer Aniston, which was the bangs, but then there was boy bangs was what it was, and it was the perfect little hair, but I feel bad because only certain hair, only certain people could do that. If you curly hair, you were screwed. That's
who has that? My son, and he gets that compliment a lot.
It looks like child actor from the 90s. It's horrifying. If I was a director and I was trying to cast, it's a Stranger Things situation where okay, I need by the way, is he screaming? Am I hearing?
Yeah, he's screaming right now. He's in bed, but he's very chatty before bed.
Yeah, if I was casting, I'm the Duffer Brothers, right? The directors of Stranger Things. And guess what? We're going to next decade. And I need a cute little boy to start the franchise that epitomizes the mid to late 90s. I'm getting Rowdy Skaggs because he's got perfect hair.
Not to be...
Archie Skaggs. My apologies.
Rowdy Skaggs has he has redhead. He's a redhead.
If I'm looking for
Archie
a kid to kind of be the mysterious one that you kind of like fall in love with later on,
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Rowdy. Like okay, he's like a little bit like I'm a redhead, so I'm a little bit of an outsider, but like you're gonna love me. That's the kind of vibe. But yeah, no. So, but anyway, yeah. But yeah, they're just getting pillow fights, things like that.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a good weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good weekend. So anyway, so she's 2 right now, but when she comes back, she'll be back 1.
But speaking of your wife being on a little vacay, tell the folks where you're going to be going next week and what we're going to be doing.
Oh, so and then I'll get back to describing my third best thing I did, which was my garage.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
So next week, duties. I'm going back to the motherland, baby. I'm going back to old T-Town.
The 918.
I'm gonna get me some tea because I got low tea. What if I go and get tea inject? Is it injections? What do they do if you have low testosterone?
Oh, I thought you meant like herbal tea. I was like, you inject herbal tea in your...
No, but have you ever heard those commercials? Like, oh, I heard John has low T. Like, it's a whole thing, and you can get like higher your tea. Maybe I need higher tea. I don't know. And if I'm gonna get tea, I gotta get it in Tulsa, baby. The big T.
Is Tulsa known for testosterone injections?
I mean, it should be.
Okay.
I mean, it's a giant. They got a giant golden driller. Like, what's on your shirt?
That's true.
If that doesn't scream testosterone, I don't know what does.
That's true.
So yes, I'm going back to the motherland. Me and Mr. Stabs are going to be reuniting, and we are going to be doing something that we're going to invite duties to participate in with us. We thought this was a good exercise. We get all bond over this. Last week, I talked about Seventh Heaven, and I've been rewatching some of these awful Seventh Heaven episodes, and me and Mr. Stabs are going to watch one together, and we are going to break it down and review it on the pod. We would love the duties to participate with us. The episode is called Who Knows?
Watch it and then just email us at dudepod1987@gmail.com, or just go to our website, thedudepod.com, and use our contact form and just tell us your thoughts, tell us your questions, and we'll talk about it on the podcast.
So let me tell you the episode. The episode is called Who Knows? It was it came out in 1999, and I will just tease you with the description of the episode. The 7th episode, titled Who Knows, is about a model student who joins a mural painting project and witnesses people using spray paint. The episode includes the following. Simon joins the mural painting project. Simon reluctantly joins the project but feels unwelcome. Simon witnesses people using spray paint, and Simon sees people using and sniffing the spray paint. And one of them coughs up blood.
I mean, it's going to be a doozy.
The episode is about Huffy. I mean, if there's anything that correlates with the Dude podcast, Huffy paint is like number 1, baby. So we are going to be reviewing that episode. I think you can find it on Amazon. Amazon Prime, I believe it's available at. I believe it's available on Paramount Plus. 7th Heaven. Who knows? Watch the episode. Send in your feedback, thoughts. We will be reviewing that particular episode. Going back to my top 3 things. So obviously, love my child. He's awesome. He's hilarious. Love my amazing wife. She's incredible. But the third best thing I've ever done was during COVID. I transformed my detached garage into a fully functional sports bar. Has large cool. TVs. It's a 12-foot bar. Lots of lights.
Comfy couch. You need to have a comfy couch.
You need a comfy couch. It gets kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. There have been times when you build a bar in your backyard, people come that are friends of your friends, and they may start smooching in your bar, and you don't know who they are, and you have to maybe tell them that they have to leave.
Have you caught people doing the nasty in your bar?
Not the nasty, but there was, some heavy petting, and I was like, I don't know who these people are, and like, I got to go to bed. We got to get out of here.
What's the weirdest thing that's happened in there?
I've been a lot of weird things that happened in there.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Have you ever found someone in your bar who you didn't know, who didn't ask your permission to go in there? Someone who's just been like, I'm going to go to the bar, watch a show. You have.
I mean, well, no. Usually, what happens is it's within the big gatherings, right? So, like, there's a couple times where there's like fairly large parties that happen. Friends of friends bring friends. And then it becomes sort of a free-for-all,
right?
Where you're like, you don't really know where these people came from, but you're kind of obligated to be polite, but you're also kind of like looking for like, who were they here with? And then sometimes their host leaves and they're still there, so like, but you don't really know how they got there. And that's a lot of what it is. And then they've had a few pops and they don't feel like they have to explain why they're there.
Yeah.
They're feeling very confident. And so those are the kind of sort of the situations you run into. It's not very often. It's not like I go out there and there's some like old man just drinking. That'd be hysterical. That doesn't happen. But it's more of these like party type situations where then you get some like kind of interesting guests.
Do you
Is somebody crying?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me check on this real quick. I want to make sure George. Hold on.
Okay.
A few moments later.
Rowdy has been struggling with sleep. He's on a sleep regression.
Dude, that's what Mr. Trey's been doing too. He just wants to cuddle but luckily, like, he has, if we put his animals out, like, we've been like kind of like putting his they're his friends, and we kind of like put him around him, and it seems like that's making him feel more comfortable. He also like just wants, I know what he wants to do. He just wants to cuddle and watch TV. That's all he wants to do. And he doesn't even, once he gets past a certain time, he doesn't care what television it is. I've watched Below Deck Mediterranean with my son, and he was very into it. It's a bunch of mid-20-year-olds fighting on a boat and reality television show, and he loves it.
You're a big reality show fan, aren't you?
I do. I don't watch a lot of it. I have a couple of about 3 or 4 that are in my like wheelhouse that like I like.
I remember you were a big Jersey Shore fan, but
I love Jersey. I'm obsessed. I Jersey Shore. I'm obsessed with Jersey. I'm obsessed with Jersey Shore. I've read Mike the Situation's book. We did Jersey Shore characters for Halloween. I've watched every episode of Jersey Shore. I also watched Family Vacation, which is a new show. We have Snooki's autograph in the garage. We're big.
You have Snooki's autographs?
Yeah, because so Carol Ann, when she dressed up as Snooki owns a couple of boutiques that are only about an hour away from here. So, she's a Jersey girl. She's not too far away. So, we ordered, like, she sells outfits like of herself for like Halloween costumes. They're only like $50, and you get like this whole Snooki outfit, and she sends an autographed picture of herself. Really? And it's legit, yeah. So I mean, so hey, if you order from the Snooki shop, she's probably gonna send you. If you order it a certain amount of money, she's gonna give you an autographed thing.
You know what's a business that's just a waste if she doesn't act on it is Snooki's Cookies. She needs to have a cookie store.
Oh, she does need a cookie store.
I mean, who wouldn't buy Snooki's Cookies?
I would love Snooki's Cookies.
I think it's Snooki's Cookie. It's just fun to say.
It's
Snooki's
so fun to say. And she'd have like snickerdoodles, snickerdoodle Snookies.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? So I have to talk about the experience I had this week. I had one of the most, I would say, unique customer service experiences I've ever had in my life.
With who?
So me and my wife both, like, I need tires. She needs tires. There's certain things that I get it. There's certain things that like your spouse just won't do for themselves, no matter like honestly, my wife could have like 4 flats and she's not going to tire. She'll keep driving that thing.
Yeah.
No matter what. So
Yeah.
I was like, hey, honey, let me take your car. I'm gonna get you new tires. Because she had to drive because she drove a bunch of people up to the Poconos. And I'm like, I just don't feel comfortable with you driving.
And winter's coming. Yeah, you just gotta take care of it.
Yeah, the light kept coming on, saying low pressure. I was like, let's just take care of this. So there's a place that's literally 0.2 miles from my house. Like, so again, if it takes all day, I can walk home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, super convenient. I've never been there, but my father-in-law, Cha, who knows all of these things, is like, oh, great spot, Ardmore Tires. Go to Ardmore Tires. And I actually never thought they would do. They did. I didn't know what I thought it was because it's horrible. Like if you just drive past it, it's so like disheveled. It's just like tires strewn all over the place. There's like it doesn't look like a Jiffy Lube. You know what I mean? It looks just like a dilapidated building with like kind of trucks going in. It was kind of questionable.
It's so out of sorts that they're not even sure if they're a tire shop anymore. Oh yeah, I think we can do that.
Yeah. But I pull in, I don't have an appointment. I go in and there's a decent amount of people there, which tells me, okay, at least I know like this is a functional tire shop, which is good. I go in and I'm no joke, I stand there for like 8 or 9 minutes. And like there's 2 people not too far away, just doing other work, like not looking at me. And I'm just like, all right. But like at some point I'm like, okay, like they're going to have to ask me, at the very least, like, who, do you need something? Who are you?
Right.
Move out of the way, something at some point, right? So this is where it gets like, my spidey sense is like, maybe this should be the responsive people, but who knows? The guy literally is like, he finally like looks up, comes to me, and goes, "Yeah, what are you here for?" And I'm like, tire. I like tires. Can you do tires? He's like, I don't know, maybe. And I'm like, what? Like it was like I was
want
just so,
my money? Yeah, it's
and
like
I'm like, what? And he's just like, what kind of tires you got, dude? And I'm like, I don't. They're tires. I don't. He's like agitated. He's like, God forbid I didn't know, like, because the whole question's confusing to me. Like, am I supposed to give you the model of the car? Do I actually have to know like the brand of tire? Like, I don't think about brands. I don't. Do I have to like have the measurement of it? Like, there's so many thoughts. I don't even know. I'm like a tire on a car. Like, I think that was my response. Like, tires for my car. Like, he just stands there, goes. Like there's that, that meme of Ben Affleck where like somebody caught him like smoking a cigarette and he's just like exhaling and he looks like so just beaten. This man does that literally like as I'm standing. He's just like,
surely at this point you were like, this isn't the place. I need people who are helpful because you and I are we're not car people. So you and I need people to walk us through what kind of.
Yeah, of course. But here's the saving grace. I look out, dude, people are hustling out there. It's a lot of, Johnnies and Pedros and Juans working really hard. Getting a lot of time, like they're moving, they are hustling out there, so that's a good sign. There's also like other people in the lobby who seem pretty undeterred by this. Like they're like, this is just kind of what you get.
Oh, so they were listening to this conversation?
Oh yeah. And I'm just kind of like looking like I'm trying to make, and they're not making eye contact. Like it's like, oh, okay, this is the drill. This is the initiation of if you can like get past this.
I would have been done, dude. I'm telling you, I would have been like, thank you. I'll find somewhere else.
So he's exhausted, and then he's just like, and then he like does like this like almost like toddler howdy walk out, and he's like, come on. And like, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm following him. And so I follow him out, and he just kind of looks at the car, and he's like, and then he kind of goes back in, and he's like, all right, it's gonna be like, $100 a tire. We're gonna get you 4. What do you think? And I'm like, sure, yeah, okay. He's like,
that's a good deal, by the way.
I think it's a great deal.
Tires are not that cheap at these days.
No, I know, that's what I saw in my head. I'm like, okay. And then he was like, Bay 2. And I'm like, what? And he's like, and again, he's just irritated. He's like, Bay 2. Pull into Bay 2.
How are you supposed to know what Bay 2 means?
But I'm telling you what, dude, it only took 20 minutes. It was $400 for 4 new tires.
That's an amazing deal.
And they were
new tires?
They were so, yeah, I think. Well, that's, I think. I don't really know. I have no idea. There's something, and they're running much better than what I had.
Yeah, that's wild. Wow.
Yeah. And so I'm now telling people to go there, but I'm like warning people. I'm like, listen, it's great, but you're like, don't go in there with an attitude. Like, just go in there, just like get ready.
Be prepared.
Be prepared. I at one point, like early on, I thought I was being pranked. I literally thought I was like, okay, there's footage, because it was, and like, again, everybody else was numb to it, like they get it, and there's another man who's working too, and he kind of glanced up and was like just kind of like looked like it was like, okay, this is just the drill. And also the other best part is, like, while he was working, like before he started talking to me, he's constantly fielding calls. And he's as angry as he was at me, he was far more upset on the phone. And then, like, after he'd hang up the phone, he would just talk trash on those. He'd be like, what am I trying to do? What am I, like, why am I even here? Why? Like, he just keeps questioning himself. He was questioning the person who called. The whole thing was just like, is this a bit? It was awesome.
I have a question for you. So, we obviously grew up in Oklahoma, where it's some people might say a little overly nice. You go into a place, it's like, hey, how you doing? It's very, maybe overly friendly, overly polite. You're on the more East Coast, so there's kind of the stigma of like being a little prickly, rough around the edges. I remember at your wedding, someone came up to me after your wedding. It was one of I don't know, it was a family member or a friend of a friend, goes, hey, you're that deaf guy, right? I'm like, yeah, you're that impolite guy, right? It's a little more straightforward, to the point. Do you find that when you go to the customer service is more like that, or is this guy a one-off?
Yes. Well, you were dancing around this Philadelphia, dude. You get what you see, and it is what it is, man. Like, yeah. It's not kinda, it is on the degree scale, right? If we go, like, let's say, like, the deep South, I don't know, maybe certain parts of Georgia, sir, we're like, oh, bless your heart, how are you doing? Like, stopping down, talking to you, really, like, so let's say that's like a 9 on the nice scale. Oklahoma's probably, what, like a 7 or a 6, maybe?
I'll get to that, but yeah, it's up there.
It's up there. I don't think it's quite like, it's not like overwhelming.
It's very Midwest nice in some way.
Midwest, exactly. Midwest nice. That's it. But Philadelphia, dude, is about as prickly. I mean, you gotta come in, you gotta be prepared. You gotta be like, they're not very trusting. Like, I always tell people, I've had 2 wildly different experiences in Philadelphia, pre and post life, because I felt like I was an outsider on the outside looking in to Philadelphia, because it's a huge city. It's not overly transient. It's not DC. It's not New York. It's not Boston, which are all very transient cities. For whatever reason, Philadelphia, you're from here, you stay here. It just happens to kind of be a little bit more of that. It's large generations of family that have been here,
Right.
and they've been here for a long time,
Right.
and they do things a certain way. People are very dug in. They're like for example, like they're it's a known thing. Like franchises, there's not, if you drive around Greater Philadelphia, for the most part, you're not going to find a lot of like franchise food places. They don't do well.
Milwaukee was that way too.
Yeah, they don't do well here because the people here are very loyal and only trust like their local pizza places or their sandwich places, or
I kind of love that though.
Yeah, it's amazing. So after meeting my wife, I married in this big family, and all of a sudden I had community, and I was sort of in the Greg, what was that? Meet the Parents, in the Fokker family of trust. Was something like that, or in the secret circle of trust? It felt like that, and it felt like a wildly different experience than my first time. So yeah, people are that. I would love to tell you that, like, I don't think I've ever had an experience that was that like wheels off, but I've had similar experiences, and I don't think I've ever, like, that would be a rarity in Oklahoma, and I would say that's,
Now,
I wouldn't say it's the norm necessarily up here, but I'm saying it's barely noteworthy up here. Now, when I experienced, that was like, okay, this is like entering into like,
well, here's the thing. There's a difference between being nice and there's a difference between being like since I've moved back to Oklahoma, I've had a lot of, oh God, we really got to hang out. It's really good to see you. Like, man, I would love to catch up, would love to hang out. And I take that as face value. And so when I text people back, I can, well over 10 times in the last maybe 2 years, I've connected with someone I've seen and been, or haven't seen in a long time, and been like, yeah, let's definitely hang out. And I follow up, and it's just radio silence. It's nice to your face, but just like, I just don't want anything to do with you. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans who just don't want inconvenience. Up in the East Coast, I appreciate they'll let you know when it's an inconvenience.
oh yeah, and that was one of the biggest things that even me and Carol Ann sometimes fight about, is like, I grew up in a culture of passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Right. It's like built into the culture of Oklahoma.
Right.
Like that's just part of, like, you don't say anything, like you're okay with it. Hi, everything's good. The culture up here is you tell somebody when they did wrong, you're going to tell it to their face, but then you're going to move on. Right. And sometimes it's a little jarring. Right. Sometimes I don't like, there's times that that's still, even though like I've been up here for a decade plus, if you're not naturally ingrained with it, great example, I never saw my parents. They never argued in front of us.
Same.
And
Same with mine.
I would tell you that I'm not saying that there aren't families up here that don't, like, but I'd almost say, again, culturally up here, it's much more common for, a little bit of arguments, a little bit everybody. Guess what? It's okay for people to see it. We're all human, right? Don't you want to be? And it's like, oh my God, like this is, but you kind of air the laundry, and then we just kind of move on, and no one thinks like twice about it. Whereas like, back home, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's definitely more of that. I mean, again, father-in-law has screamed at me countless times. So many times. I've witnessed my mother-in-law and father-in-law screaming at each other, and then they're fine 2 minutes later. Yeah, I mean, it's just a different way of going about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my father-in-law today, by the way, he got so mad at me. I went over there this afternoon. This is completely true. He got so mad at me. The man is a great chef, but he also is the kind of chef who just throws things together. And a lot of times he has such a skill set that it works, but sometimes you're like, you did what? He made some sort of egg-based soup. I'm not making this up. It was some sort. It was some sort of.
That's not a thing. Egg
Some
soup.
sort of, I don't know, but Will, I thought he farted. Like I thought, or the dog pooped in the house because it smelled so bad. I go, oh my god, what? Cha, what's that smell? And he goes, and he turned. He was, Will. He was so mad with me. He turned. He goes, well, that happens to be. Hold on. Let me try to do it. He so I say, because I thought he farted, which the man has farted on me so many times too. So that's the other thing. It's a 50-50 shot if it's a fart or it's like a natural gas leak in the house or a sulfur mine. He could have farted on me. It's a very common occurrence. So I'm like, Cha, come on. And there's so they watch my baby Trey 2 times a week. So Trey was over there. So I figured it was either Trey or he had to it or the dog. The dog's getting old. The dog has bowel problems. So I thought it was that. I go, Cha, what the heck is that smell? He goes, and he turns to me. He goes, well, aren't you being an ass? And I'm like, whoa. And he goes, that's my soup. And he points to his soup. And I'm like, what is that? It's like the soup with it's like big circular. I'm like, what is that? And he's like,
You make it butthole soup?
yeah, what is that? Butthole soup? And I go, and then he goes, that's my egg soup. And I'm like, what? And he Mr. Smart Ass. I'm like, yeah. And I'm trying not to laugh because I'm like, okay, but then in my head, I'm like, the problem is then you go through in your head like a Rolodex of should I know what egg soup thing? Is that a popular thing that I just don't know about?
Did you eat the egg soup?
No.
Did you ask Caroline if she's ever eaten egg soup before?
I didn't text her. She was already gone by the time this had occurred. But he was not happy at my comment. That's for sure. Oh my God, Will, I just thought of something.
What?
Did you get the gift I sent you? Did you get a shirt in the mail?
No.
You never got the potato shirt?
No.
I'm gonna.
When did you send this?
Like a month ago.
No potato shirt, dude. What's the deal with the potato shirt?
I ordered this amazing shirt for you for your birthday a month ago, and I don't know where it is. I am so mad about this potato shirt.
Check the tracking. See where it is.
I don't know. I'm gonna dig into this. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. I made a world-class shirt. It just has a giant potato on it. I thought that'd be a cool shirt to wear.
Yeah, dude, I would be wearing it right now if you sent it to me.
By the way, so fun life hack that I do. So everybody who listens who want to hear a life hack, I got a life hack for you. So I'm someone who, I like to eat fast food, but I also like to eat semi-healthy. So what do? Up here in Philadelphia, it's kind of hard. We don't have, a ton of those kind of in-between sort of the Chipotle of the world are sort of the better version. So what I do is I go to Wendy's and I get baked potatoes.
What you put on your taties? How do you dress your taties?
A big cheese butter. Give me a little cheese, give me a little butter, a little bacon bits, But here's the interesting thing, dude. You wouldn't believe, they must have a very low quantity. Either everybody else is doing the thing that I'm doing with the baked potatoes, or each Wendy's has 3 potatoes. That's it. Because I've gone to multiple Wendy's and they've been sold out of potatoes, or they act like they don't sell potatoes. And I know they sell potatoes because they're on the menu.
You should be enraged when you go there and they say don't have them.
I had to have a weird conversation with one of the guys about the potatoes because I really wanted baked potatoes a couple nights ago from Wendy's, and I went and me and Shaw ate baked potatoes from Wendy's. I said, "Do you want a baked potato, Shaw?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "All right, I'm going to Wendy's. I'm gonna get some baked potatoes because we don't have a McAllister's up here, right? McAllister's is great. You can get baked potatoes there. We don't have that up here. So
I live right next to McAllister's.
The best option is a Wendy's, unfortunately, to get a cheap, fast baked potato.
Yeah.
So I go to the one Wendy's, and they're like, and then they make me feel dumb. I'm like, "You have any baked potatoes?" And they're like, "No, we don't. We're all out. We don't have baked potatoes." And I'm like, and I told them, I go, "You know what? Been here multiple times, and you never have baked potatoes. It's funny. You never have baked potatoes." And then the guy didn't respond because I was just very frustrated. So then I drove to the other Wendy's, and there's been multiple times that I have driven to two Wendy's, and they both not have baked potatoes. And I went there and I said, do you guys have baked potatoes?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "How many baked potatoes do you have?" And he goes, and that was the best. He was like, we have it. Because then he didn't know how to respond. I guess he didn't want to have to
Of course, that's a crazy question.
he didn't want to have to count his baked potatoes. So I was like, "Well, do you have three?" And he's like, "Yeah, we got three." And so then when I pulled up, I wanted to have a conversation with him about the potatoes, and he kind of just cut me off. I've recently also, there's two things. I keep trying to have conversations with fast food people, and it makes me mad because they won't engage. So I was like, because he was delivering the potatoes, I'm like, "Thank you. By the way, I just want you to know, I've gone to other Wendy's, and a lot of times they don't have baked potatoes, and oftentimes you guys don't have baked potatoes. So that's why I asked what your quantity of baked potatoes was." And he was just like, "Yeah, okay." And he just but if you were working fast food and somebody made that comment, wouldn't you want to be like, "Yeah, you're right. Let me tell you about our baked potato situation"? Wouldn't you want to talk to me about the secret of the weird Wendy's baked potato situation?
Can I say something real quick? As we've gotten older, I'm seeing a window into JC that I haven't seen in the past, which is JC Crumb is very, he'll stand his ground. He doesn't mind complaining to businesses about things, their faults. Key example, we record on a platform called Riverside, and Riverside was not working for 3 days, and we could not get it to work. And I kept asking Riverside, I was like, "Hey, can you please, going back to the Oklahoma Nice, can you please, what's happening? What's going on?" You said, "If you do not resolve this, we're going to switch to another platform." You were like, we make a living off this, which we don't, but you were very stern. You're like, "People are depending on us."
Yeah, I think I did say that. People are depending on the pot. This is life or death. There is a child on life support, and if they can't hear the Dude podcast this week, they have told us that Timmy will die. We have to keep Timmy alive.
You were very stern. I was kind of impressed. And so but you've mentioned many times that you're big into writing letters of complaints to businesses, which is wild to me because when I hear that people get letters, angry letters, I'm like, nobody's reading that. But you still do this. You talked about sending a letter to an airline. Tell me about what is in your mindset when you send an angry letter to a company that has done you wrong. Do you think it works?
I don't know. I just kind of I think I feel better.
Yeah.
I think it's a therapy thing for me. So, I mean, for me, there's the letter situation, but let me go back to the other fast food situation that I tried to engage in, and I can't get an answer on. I'm very frustrated about this. So, I don't know if you know this, but I love Slurpees.
Yes, I do know this, yeah.
And I'm very specific about my Slurpees, and there's only certain places I go because there's certain places that make that I think the key to a good Slurpee is the maintenance of the machine. That's everything. You know what I mean? I don't know. I watched this documentary called, I think it's called a Jiro Loves Sushi, or it was a documentary that came out in like the early 2000s, and it won Academy Awards. And it was about this like Michelin star sushi maker in Japan, and it's like it's like two guys, and they've been like this train station for forever, and it's like almost impossible to get a seat. And he breaks down like what makes his sushi like the world's best sushi. And he talks about, like, he spends a lot of time talking about the quality of the rice and like how he cooks the rice and how he goes about it. I'm a big believer in, when it comes to Slurpees, that the sacred ingredient really is, it's the maintenance of the machine. Like, it needs to be cared for. It needs to be like, that is everything.
You know, you're not wrong, because I've been a barista for many years in my life. The maintenance of an espresso machine is a big deal. So you're not. I don't think you're wrong.
So like the Slurpee. So I have figured out that Burger King does an incredible job with their icy machines. They're great quality icy. And so I go through Burger King drive-thru and I'll just get an icy. But the thing is, since I'm just getting the icy, I want a large icy. The challenge is, for whatever reason, the large icy is like a small or a medium for every other, like, it's not the same as a fountain drink. But it's not just a Burger King problem, Will. I also noticed at McDonald's, they're doing the same thing. So I tried to have a conversation with the Burger King guy when he was giving me the drink. And I was like, hey, by the way, like, this is not a large. Like, every time I try to order a large, why is this is not the large? Like, why can't I have, I said, is there some rule that you guys have as it relates to the largest cup you can do with the Slurpee? And the guy kind of just like, he was like taken aback by my question, and the door just shut.
He didn't answer you?
No.
And why?
He was just like, have a good day, man. And I'm like, so I don't know if I've like stumbled upon some secret that the industry doesn't want the world to know. Like,
do you think he was actually giving you like a medium when you asked for a large? Like, do you think,
no,
or do you think that's standard practice?
I am convinced that, I'm telling you, big fast food, big corporation, they do not want you to have a big cup for the Slurpee. I don't know why. Something is up. And I'm on to you people. I'm on to you, McDonald's. I am on to you, Burger King. I am on to the fast food chains. And you guys, for whatever reason, you're giving me a medium. And guess what? I'm actually being generous when I'm saying a medium. That's like a medium from like 1980. Okay, the size of the cup that you're giving me, and you're claiming it's a large, and you're putting the Slurpee into it, and it has a weird, they don't even give you the true bubble top either. It's like this weird, like, open air concept Slurpee.
Right.
I'm not into it all. It's very problematic. It's just asking to be still. So I don't know what's going on, but what concerns me is that it seems like McDonald's and Burger King, who notoriously go head-to-head, are in cahoots on this thing. It's the one thing that's united these companies.
Have it your way? They're just being, I think not. These guys are being McJerks, if you ask me. I'm not even a Slurpee guy. I'm not a fast food guy, but I'm getting jazzed up about it.
You're upset. Oh, you want to hear something else, too?
Yeah, I do want to hear something else.
You had a good Slurpee machine, too, and they got rid of it? IKEA.
What is the world coming to?
So there was an IKEA by my house. It's off the running trail. So sometimes I would go for a run. Sometimes I would need a cool refreshment midway through the run. Guess where I would go? I would literally go into IKEA, and I knew exactly where to walk.
Shut up.
So that, I'm not kidding, so that I could go get a Slurpee, because they had a Slurpee machine. And they had Coke, and they had some weird Swedish berry flavor. And they were both delicious. And I'll tell you what, if you think the small cups were small at Burger King and McDonald's, these Swedish cups are ridiculous. They're like Dixie cups that they give you. They're tiny.
You know what? Maybe JC, it just dawned on me, buddy. Maybe we're not looking at the right enemy here. Maybe this is Slurpee. Maybe Slurpee is behind the whole curtain, pulling the gear, saying, we're not doing this big cup nonsense. You're going to serve medium cups. I think it's a Slurpee thing.
I never thought of that, Will, and now I'm very concerned because I was blaming the institution, but maybe it's Big Slurpee.
I don't know the metrics behind it, but I'm pretty sure the Slurpee business is a $1 billion corporation, and they got to be stopped.
All right. I mean, so the assignment, Seventh Heaven.
Yes.
The episode is.
I will post it on our Instagram, by the way.
Who knows? It's the episode. It's an episode about huffing. If anything, you'll learn not to huff paint because it's very dangerous, duties. So don't huff paint. Not good.
Yeah.
Right.
So be looking out for that. I'll post it on the. I'll post it on the Instagram.
Like.
Watch our YouTube.
Watch YouTube. Watch it 100 times. Why not? Get it up there.
TheDudePod.com. Check it out. It'll change your life.
Change your life. Change your life. See you, duties. Have a great week.
Have a great week.